No. I don't know what you're seeing, but it's fine. And I say, Molly, stop. Hello, my name is Michelle, and this is Michelle's Fiber Studio Podcast. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, right? I just looked at the date too. I should have been able to keep that in my head. And this is episode number 81. Welcome, welcome. It is my school vacation week, and I am thoroughly enjoying the time. It is cloudy right now, so the lighting should hopefully stay decent, although the sun poked out about half an hour ago, just as I was getting ready to record or thinking about recording. I'm like, oh, of course, we're going to have lovely shadows. And it is in the high 30s, so it is actually very, very pleasant. I have a lot to talk about. I think this is going to be a longer episode, so settle in with your favorite beverage, cup of coffee, cup of tea, water, whatever, and your knitting, because I have lots and lots to share. I have a finished object, I have a new cast on, I have project dreams, I have yarn acquisitions, I have updates, you name it. I think I pretty much have it this week. Before I start though, let's talk about what I am wearing. I have my Faro sweater that I put on, actually just for podcasting, and honestly I'm getting a little warm, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this on the whole time. But this is a bulky knit sweater that I knit last March, pretty much the whole month of March. I started on March 9th. I completed it on March 26th. It is knit out of Jody Long Adiamo in the very descriptive color number 7. It is a bluish, actually there's little hints of green, blue and green, very cozy, exactly what I wanted in a bulky weight sweater. But it's a lot warmer than I was remembering, or I was thinking I was going to be able to do. So we'll see how long I last with this on. But that is what I am wearing. So I think with that, let's go straight over to my blocking board. On my blocking board, I have a finished object. I'm so excited to have this done. This is 2 weeks in a row, I think. Didn't I have a finished object last week too? Is that when no, I guess it's been 2 weeks. Whatever. Regardless, I'm very happy and excited to show off my Deck the Halls shawl. I kind of got a bee in my bonnet once I was done with my West Stitch shawl, and I just plowed on ahead and got it all done. I finished it on Sunday. So let me throw it on top. Oh, now I'm going to really be hot, right? But throw it on top of my sweater here. And I know you can't see, but the tails still hang down. So it's a really, really nice length. I am super, super pleased with it. So all right, let's take a deep dive into this one, shall we? And it's coming off of my neck. I don't need the extra warmth. It is a pattern, again, Deck the Halls by Tabetha Hedrick. I started this on December 17th, and I knit it with yarn from Emma's Yarns. It is one of her small theme packs, and it is the Fa La 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 theme pack. So, and I know I told the story of why this yarn and the name of this theme pack is meaningful to me in, I don't know, it's a couple episodes. It was in December. It was in one of my December episodes. So you can go back and find that. But I love the serendipity of having the Fa La 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 yarn with the Deck the Halls pattern. So it was 10 mini skeins. And I'm going to try to hold these up, get them squished into my hand here, but can you see? That is all I have left. It adds up to about 11 grams total. So I have, that's the biggest one, and then these two are next, and then just little teeny bits of the last two. So I really used this yarn to its fullest for sure. It is a pattern that was written for 8 mini skeins. So I did a little bit of tinkering. I didn't follow the pattern exactly. It has you changing yarns and multiple times in different ways, and I opted to just knit until I was basically done with the yarn. Well, not quite done with the yarn. I was weighing it pretty regularly, and then when I knew that I had enough for one more repeat, I would join in the next color, work 1 or 2 rows, you know, forward and backward, and then I would do 2 rows with the old yarn and then switch. So I kind of eased in and changed colors that way. And then I will honestly say that the last third or so of the shawl, I basically just used the pattern as a guide, and I totally did my own thing as far as what was where and when, and I just totally winged it at the end. But I think it came out great. I love the color transitions. And the yarn, actually, I was really pleased. It softened up quite a bit when I washed it. It was, I was noticing as I was cutting the ends off that it just felt not quite as, scratchy isn't even the right word, but it just kind of softened up and felt even better and more drapey and all of that. I think the last thing that I will say is I did have a little bit of fun with my bind off, because it was a bind off where you knit 2 stitches, pass them back, knit 2 together through the back loop, knit a stitch, pass them back, knit 2 together through the back loop, right? So you're basically working 2 rows of pattern, and I didn't read far enough ahead to figure that out. And so I saved enough of my last color yarn for 1 row across, but not 2 rows across. So I ran out, not quite halfway, as you know, that would make sense. So I switched somewhere. See, I'm not even gonna be able to find it. It's totally fine. So I added in, instead of ripping it out, I think it was like right here. And I don't know how well you can see the bind off, but I added in the next color down, which was very, very similar, just not quite as dark. And I ran out again with about, I don't know, where is the, oh yeah, right here. So if I flip it over, oh, you can see it. I had that much left. So then I just went back down to the next thread. So you can see there are like 3 different reds. So I started with this thread, had to do part of it in this red, and finished up with that red. And you know what? I don't even care. I don't think it matters. I don't think anyone's gonna really notice, and whatever. So that was the only yarn chicken, I guess, that I was playing, and I totally lost. But no worries. I am thrilled that this one is off the needles and that I can move on to some new projects. In my project bag, I have updates on 3 projects, and I actually have a new cast on to share as well. So with the completion of the 2 shawls, bigger projects, the Deck the Halls wasn't as big as the Westness shawl, but it was still on the larger side. That really left me with just my crochet blankets and my socks. So I have been working on those. So let's start with my Imagination Quilt. I have 2 more colors that I was able to complete. So let's look at day 18 colors. Oh, come on. Keeps them all together when I tuck them in these little bags, but then I have a hard time pulling them out to show you. So this is the stack for day 18. So I had 6, right? Yep. 6 half square triangles with my neutral, and ooh, don't drop it. 3 that were solid. And then day 19 I also completed, and that was, did these I think on Sunday night after I had completed my shawl. I shifted gears and I worked on these little squares. So this is the stack for this color, and I think there's 8 of them if I remember correctly. They're all solids, just the full color, solid color squares. So those are the 2 colors I got done. I did not quite meet my goal of getting 3 colors done, so 18, 19, and 20. And I am totally fine with that because my goal was not to finish the shawl until the end of the month. And so I cranked that out last week. So honestly, as long as at the end of the month I hit all the goals that I want to hit, it doesn't really matter what order it's in. Putting it down on paper just kind of helps me to keep in mind what it is that I want to do and break it down into smaller chunks. And I find that I actually am even more productive than I would have been if I hadn't put it down on paper. There's just something about putting it on paper. And I usually try to be pretty gentle with the goals that I set too. So it feels very manageable. And then it's like, oh, well, okay, I can push a little harder and I can do a little bit more. So at any rate, that's where I am at with that one. I hope to get the last 4 colors. Actually, it's only 3 colors because one of them is already wound up. I have wound it up and decided not to use it. Remember earlier, I had shifted some colors around. So I hope to get the last 3 colors wound so they're all ready to go. And maybe by the end of the week, get all of those little mini squares done. That would be really, really great if I could do that. And then I could shift to just focusing on sewing, which would just leave me with the crocheting for my Aura Lapghan. So let's talk about that one next. I have been keeping my completed squares in my Woolen Women's Fibers bag. And I believe the last time I spoke with you, I know I had done some squares. This is my whole stack. I think I just needed to do these 2 green ones. I think I had done all the other solid ones, if I remember correctly. So I've done those now. And then I have done all of the striped ones, which means that I am done with clue 1, which is good because clue 3 just dropped today. So there are 2 here that are done in the 2 greens striped together, the 2 blues striped together, the 2 purples, and the 2 browns. So that feels really good. I admittedly pushed to get the last 4 of these done this morning before I podcasted so I could say that I was done. So you know, podcasting to the rescue. Nothing like a podcast, a good old podcast to keep you on target, right? So the Aura Lapghan is by Toni Lipsey. It is no, it's not a mystery because we know exactly what we're doing. So it's just a knit crochet along with the pattern that is being released weekly. Right now you can get the pattern for free through her website. I went to her website to sign up. It's actually through Hobie Yarns, I think is where the pattern actually comes from. And I believe there's 4 weeks, so I think there's 1 more week left of clues. And then once all of the clues have come out, the pattern will no longer be free. It will be available for sale, but it will no longer be free. So if you have any interest whatsoever in doing this Lapghan, I would encourage you to go snag that right now because it's actually a lot of fun. I really, really am enjoying it. I am using, it's back here, the Baby Bee Sweet Delight yarn from Hobby Lobby in lots of different colors. You just saw my parade of colors. So that is working out really, really well. I think I talked last week about how the only complaint I have is the yarn is staticky. And I have worked with this yarn last summer. I did a whole baby blanket with it, and I do not remember it being staticky. So it's got to be the fact that it's winter and everything is dry. It's the only thing I can think of. But it's super soft for an acrylic. It's 100% acrylic, but it's a great, great yarn. It wears well. I like how it works up. So that is this project. Put that back there. My next project is also cruising along, and that would be my 2 best friends socks. So let's see. Last week when I was podcasting, I was all the way back here, and I have, look at this, I worked the rest of the leg. I turned the heel, and I pretty much have half of the foot, which is my goal for this week, would be to have half the foot done. So let's, oh, I would say I have more than half. Can you see right here is where it is? So it's coming up to this knuckle, and I like to go that distance. There we go. So that's about what I got left. So about 2.5 inches. We had a ladies' fellowship meeting last night, and I brought it with me, and I had turned the heel, but I worked all that part of the foot. So I'm actually really hoping that tomorrow night at Bible study, I can finish knitting at least the foot, and that will just leave me the toe. So these should be done by next week. That is my new goal, to get these done. So again, the yarn is from Little Wolf Knits. It is on her Sunfish base, and the colorway is Two Best Friends, and it is a Wicked-inspired colorway, which, incidentally, if you are into that, she just released, so this is one of 4 colors that she had released last winter with the first movie. She just re-released them in addition to 4 new colors for a whole Wicked collection to kind of complete the whole thing. So go head on over there and check that out. All right, my last project is my newest. I started it yesterday, and I have talked pretty extensively since last fall about my desire to knit a cardigan out of this yarn here, which is my Illimani Sabri in fawn, I believe. It says it on the tag below. And this is yarn that I got in Brooklyn when I was visiting my daughter last summer. And I had chosen and had in my head that I was going to cast on, oh gosh, I don't even remember now. I've already moved on. What was the cardigan that I was going to do? Well, I've been talking about it. So I deleted it from my notes. Don't remember. But a week ago or so, when I sat down and I really started diving into the cardigan and taking a look and getting ready to cast it on because I had completed my Westness shawl, I realized, and I didn't realize until last week, that it is a cardigan that is knit from the bottom up. And I lost a huge degree of excitement for it as soon as I realized that. All right, I think they've settled down. I don't know what they saw because they are alerting and they're still staring out the window. So I don't know if somebody was walking on the road out there or whatever. Who knows? Their job is to keep me safe, and they take it very seriously. Okay, where was I? Yes, my cardigan. So I immediately lost interest. Like my desire to, oh, yep, I can see the pedestrian there now. My desire to knit that cardigan like diminished monumentally once I realized that, because it's just exciting to knit from the top down. I like how you start kind of small-ish. While you have a lot of excitement and enthusiasm, you can get a big chunk of the sweater done, and you can try it on as you go. And so I can make sure that the top is fitting exactly the way that I want it, and then I can knit the length exactly how long I want it based on how the top is fitting. And so I like the construction, like how I knit it, and I like the ability to fit it way better when I knit from the top down. So I bagged that pattern and I went deep diving again into Ravelry, looked at all kinds of different patterns, and I ended up settling on the Soubrette cardigan by Mary Annarella of Lyrical Knits. This is actually one that's been in my library, so I had intended to knit it for a while. So that's what I've done, and even better, the gauge that I got is exactly the gauge of the pattern. So that was very exciting. I don't think I ever do that. Granted, she was knitting on size 6 and I'm knitting on size 2, but I've got gauge, right? So I cast on yesterday, and that is all that I have. I now need to work like 40 some odd rows right here before, I don't know if I pick up stitches on this side, or I don't remember. I haven't looked that far ahead. This is just like the right front. I don't even know where it goes, so I'm not even going to pretend but this is what I got. So I'm super excited. I am hoping, actually maybe while I'm editing the podcast, I can work on this some more and I can get those 40 rows done. That would be really, really great. And move on to the next part of the pattern. But I'm super excited for it. And I'm really, really excited to finally get this yarn knit up. I have lots and lots of happy memories of my daughter and our time together kind of wrapped into the yarn. So it's gonna be super fun to have a cardigan knit out of that. I do have some additional project dreams for this week. Now that I have completed a bunch of things and I'm well on my way to completing those socks, I want to start another shawl because I don't want the sweater to be my only, well, first of all, it's my only big knitting project, but it's a big knitting project, right? So I think I've decided that I'm working really well being a lot more focused and intentional with the types of projects I have. I do like having a crochet project, a blanket probably most typically. Unfortunately, I have 2 of those at the moment, but you know, whatever, who's counting? I will have the sweater, so that's like a big knitting project. I will have a really simple project, typically probably socks, on the go for Bible study or really mindless kind of on the go knitting. And then I want something in the middle. And so that probably is going to be another shawl. I have had several shawl projects kind of in the queue that I am wanting to work through this year. So I think I've decided that the first of those shawls that I'm going to do is Sailing by Meg Gadsbey. And I have this yarn right here that I have had now, I think for 2 years. Wasn't last year. I think it was the year before when my mother and I went to the spa event in Freeport, Maine. We also went to what I consider my local yarn shop. It's the nearest one to me, which is also in Freeport. And we typically we'll go to the spa event and then we'll go to the yarn shop. So anyway, I got this yarn from her. It is Malabrigo Metamorphosis Sock. This one is the Sloth colorway. And she had the sailing shawl done in this yarn. I think she had it done in reds, as I recall. And I fell in love with it, and so I bought a skein of it so I could make that shawl hanging on the wall. And here this yarn has been sitting now. Spa's coming up in 2 weeks or a week and a half, and it's time to get this on the needles. So again, now that I've kind of cleared off some other stuff, this is next in the queue. Probably not today, but maybe tomorrow I will cast this one on. And the other project that I kind of have on my radar is I really would like to do some spinning this week. And I am in the middle of a spinning project, but I don't think I want to work on that one. Last summer, it would have been, well, I guess late spring, early summer, it would have been the first weekend in June. When my mom and I went to Fiber Frolic, I bought a bunch of fiber, as you may recall. And one of the bundles I keep seeing, it's across the room, way across, I'm not gonna get it, but it's bright, orangey, yellow, not really red, but yellow-orange. And I bought it thinking how much fun it would be to spin it in the winter when everything is cold and gray and dreary. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to pull that out, and I am hoping to actually get some spinning done this week as well with that project. I'll put a pause on the other one. It's totally fine. I got plenty of bobbins, and I will come back to it. And maybe this will also kind of reinvigorate. I don't want to say I've lost my enthusiasm for spinning, but I've got so many fiber pursuits that grabbed my attention. I really only have so much time in the day. So spinning kind of keeps falling by the wayside. The other project that I really want to work on is my daughter's cross-stitch picture, which I also have not touched in the last week. But again, it's vacation week, so I'm hoping that those are some of the things that I can get done this week while I am home. I do have a new addition to my yarn shelf. I have received my Woolen Women Fibers box, and I am making a little shift in just how I am naming them. I don't know what they consider this box to be. I have, up until now, been calling the box, because it charges in the middle of the month, That's what I've been calling it. So by that mechanism, this would have been my January box. I didn't receive it until like 4 or 5 days ago. Now, admittedly, they were running a little bit behind, but it is pretty much typically come the very first week of the month. So, and it is themed for that month. So my January box, look at my bag right here, or my, what I called my December box, like it was blue yarns, and this was the project bag, which is January, very, very wintry, right? The box before that, which was charged in November and came the first week of December, had the Christmas bag. So I'm gonna shift, I'm giving in and I'm making the shift. So if you're following along or looking at my stash or whatever, and you notice that it looks like I missed a month, I didn't really, I'm just shifting. So I'm calling this the February box. And it is Valentine's Day themed. So let's take a look. Again, that is how they come. They're so much fun. Okay, there is all kinds of goodies. There is a free pattern, sock pattern, which there typically is. So I'm going to set that aside so I can pull that up. Let's start with the candle. Let's spread the love. It is strawberry almond macaron. I think on this one it actually says strawberry jelly vanilla buttercream. So that is that. Oh, smells so good. I'm really, really enjoying these candles, I have to say. I have a lanolin lotion bar, nutty banana berry spread. I think, my gosh, even with glasses, I'm having a hard time. But, so, I'm not sure how I feel about lotion bars, to be honest. I have several of them, and I struggle with them. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but I feel like they leave me greasy. It's not like an actual lotion, or just maybe because of the way they spread. I don't know, but that is kind of fun anyway. There's always 2 little stitch markers. So this is from Sam's Tiny Trinkets, and there's like a little knife and a peanut butter and jelly slice of bread. It has a fun little trinket tray. I should bring this to work. My 2 besties at work, their radio, or their kind of like call names or nicknames are peanut butter and jelly, because they're always together. And then I kind of came along and shoehorned my way, and I don't think they would say that. But so I don't know if I'm the bread, if I'm the, I don't know what I am, but that would be super cute to give to one of them, because I don't know how much I need trinket trays. So maybe I'll bring it in and they can arm wrestle for it. All right, I'm gonna make you wait on the yarn, but look at this project bag. So cute. And it's a good size bag. Pink inside, but it will open up nice and big. So this is a fantastic bag. I'm gonna shift one of my projects. I was waiting to show this off. And I don't know if I'm gonna shift my Aura Lapghan into it, or maybe I will shift my sweater into this one. I might do that. Okay, I have made you wait long enough. Oh, I should say it's Spread the Love is the name of the colorway. So look at these beautiful, beautiful colors. There's lots and lots of purples, from lighter, almost a magenta, to a really deep, almost black. There's hints of brown in there, and just enough white to make it interesting. And you got this little purple mini skein to go along. So there you go. Spread the love. Super beautiful. This actually screams like a shawl to me. I could see this would make a really, really beautiful, like, shawly wrap kind of thing around the neck, not socks, with some little stripes in there. That would be really pretty. So that might be what that becomes, but not yet. So that is what I have on my yarn shelf for this week. That brings me to my day today. So when I left you last, I recorded on Monday of last week, and I was eagerly hoping and anticipating that we would potentially have a snow day on Wednesday. They were predicting 3 to 6 inches, and I just need to say that I'm not sure how weathermen or weather people keep their jobs, because we were very disappointed. They said 3 to 6 inches, and at least in our neck of the woods, and it was like 3 to 6 inches for 3/4 of the state. Like, it was a huge chunk of 3 to 6 inches. There was no way that should have missed us, but I think we got 1.5 inches if we were lucky. So, and it stopped at like 1 o'clock in the morning instead of going all day long. So unfortunately, we had to go to school. So I was a little salty on Wednesday, I'll be honest. I mean, it's fine. This is the week before February break, so in all honesty, we probably didn't need a day off, but I will never complain with a day off. So, but at any rate, that's where that landed. Thursday and Friday ended up being really, really intense. I spent like 2.5 hours working through some girl drama and sorting out the he, she said, and yeah, you know, you had 2 girls who were just kind of going at it. And then the friends got involved and were taking sides, and it was just really starting to bubble. Anyway, yeah, that was my Thursday. And then Friday was equally busy. So it was with great joy that I pulled out of that parking lot on a Friday afternoon. I will say I am thoroughly enjoying the time. It has been a delightful 4 days so far. Friday night, my husband and I ended up taking our oldest niece on my side out for her birthday dinner. She turned 18 on February 8th. And so we met her. She has her own car. She was working. So after she got out of work, we met her for dinner. Such a switch. Like, typically we've picked the kids up at their homes and brought them and taken them shopping and then brought them back. And so we're halfway through dinner. I'm like, I can take you shopping if you want, or we can just electronically Venmo you money. And she's like, yeah, I'll just take the money. I'm like, that's pretty much what I figured. So we had a delightful meal with her. She is sorting through trying to decide her college plans, so I don't know how much we're gonna have an opportunity to see her moving forward. But I told her, don't be a stranger, come visit. And I'm not planning, once they turn 18, to take them out anyway for like their birthday meal. I'm not to say that we wouldn't enjoy getting together with them, but I think this regular scripted thing I am kind of pulling the plug on at 18. So at any rate, that was Friday. Over the weekend, the other big thing my husband and I worked on was our closet project. I can try to pop a photo in here actually. And so we redid our bedroom, as you might recall, last summer. And after, like in that window, we got half of the built-in units for our walk-in closet. And then we had our old dresser in there that was on the other side, temporarily trying to wait and build up some cash flow again and such. So on Friday night, before we met my niece for dinner, we drove over to Lowe's, which was kind of in the same general vicinity. We picked up the 3 units that we needed for the rest of the closet, and then my husband worked on constructing them, did 2 of them on Saturday. He did the third one yesterday, and we got it all in there, and the dresser pulled out. I got them, everything is all organized, and I love it. Absolutely love it. So much fun. It just feels really, really good to finally have it. Looks clean, and because it's all white, and it just really looks great. So yeah, I will try to take a picture of just the overall look, and I'll even throw in a bonus because I have 1 full drawer just for my hand-knitted socks. So I'll take a picture of that one. My son was home, Elijah was home for the long weekend. It was President's Day weekend, so he drove home Friday night and spent the weekend with us. He had a dentist appointment and then drove back last night. But it was nice to have him for a few days. And other than that, I've been enjoying knitting. I did decide on a whim, and if you've waited this long to get this information, well, good on you. But I decided on a whim to do a vlog of all of my fibery pursuits this week. So Sunday night, I decided to do that. So I have been taking bits of vlog footage here, and I will try hopefully to have that up and ready next Tuesday. But I thought that would be kind of fun because I have a lot of different things. I have some yarn sorting that I'm hoping to do a little bit later, and pulling out some stuff that I no longer want, and all of those things. So I think that pretty much takes me to the end. If you have made it this far, well, good for you, because I think I'm up to like 45 minutes. And I will have notes down below in the show notes for all of the things that I've talked about. You can hit the like button and subscribe, you know, all the things. You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Knittin Michelle, Knittin Michelle. You could also send me an email at michellesfiberstudio@gmail.com. With that, I hope you have a fantastic week and happy knitting.